Hi, this is Mark Matulat for Peter Silbermann Schule, and in this video I'm going to be talking about this beauty, an easy care plant and a very decorative plant as well. So if you're interested in hearing more about it, stick around and I'm going to give you some more details and some more care tips. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Cycad. Cycad are as old as probably the world. They were there in prehistoric times already and haven't changed much. That's what I read about it. I wasn't alive at the time, so I can't say whether this information is true, but excuse me, these plants are said to be as old as the world, almost. Or at least their history goes back into the earliest time of earthly vegetation, terrestrial vegetation. Okay, so they are a family of their own, and even though in German they are called Palmfarne, they are ferns. There are no palm trees, even though their leaves may suggest they are, but they aren't. They are ferns. And they are extremely slow growing. So I've had these two for many years and they haven't grown much. What they do though, they push out new growth every 2 to 3 years. So even that is a very slow pace. And they have the capacity for storing water in these stems. Maybe you can see the stem better when you look at this one here. So this is the stem, and there used to be older leaves down here that when they are spent, I prune them, so I cut them away. And as you can see, they're sitting in organic soil, so in a real organic potting mix. It's a cactus and succulent mix, which allows for excellent drainage and good aeration of the roots. They have tap roots that reach down. Now this is, look at the pot. It's a tall pot. It's 26 centimeters in diameter, but they have those long tap roots that go all the way down to the bottom of the pot. When I say it's a succulent and cactus mix, I am talking about a mix of peat-free all-purpose potting soil, and I make a point of peat-free because for ecological reasons you don't want to use other soil than peat-free. And I add about 50% all-purpose potting soil, 25% horticultural sand. Some people call this type of sand sharp sand, and grit, pumice, lava rock, granulated clay. Any or a mix of these will do the job. These plants store water in these stems. I believe I said so before. So since this is a water storage organ, they don't need a lot of watering. So I may water these plants once a week in the summer, even during the hottest time of the year. And in the winter, well, I overwinter these in my greenhouse. And the greenhouse will be with the plants in, well, depending on the temperatures, probably at the end of October or sometime in November, probably at the beginning or mid-November. And yes, then they go in there, and I overwinter them at about 5 degrees centigrade. And in the spring, I move them back here, and they can take all types of temperature. They can take extreme heat. They can take temperatures down to, well, 1 or 2 or 3 degrees above freezing point. But other than that, they can take a lot. They can take the full sun. Look at the leaves. There is no sunburn. Look here. No sunburn. So they are robust, and at the same time they are very resilient to temperatures, low humidity, high humidity, so they can take the rain, they can take the drought, they can take anything. They can even take the wind. Doesn't bother them either. So these are very robust plants. Fertilizing, well, they are a little special when it comes to fertilizing because they don't like industrial mineral fertilizers. So these ones you want to fertilize with an organic fertilizer. Can be a liquid fertilizer. I use worm compost. Some people call it worm castings. Actually, worm compost, worm castings is nothing but worm poop. Okay? How often do I water them? Well, how often do I fertilize them? Well, maybe once a month. There are no heavy feeders, so they can go with small amounts of fertilizer. I do fertilize in July, though, because that is their time of pushing out new growth. So these leaves here, this inner circle of leaves, came this July. And there is one thing you absolutely need to observe when they are pushing out new leaves. Don't move them a millimeter, not a bit. Don't even go near them, don't touch them, because if you do, they will be all twisted and ugly and unsightly. So for the time that they are pushing out new leaves, just ignore them. Give them a little water every now and then, maybe a little more frequently than at other periods of time, but don't touch them. Don't go near them. Yes, in terms of pests, yes, I've seen mine with spider mite infections. I had one that I needed to treat for the spider mites. I used neem oil, and while the plant may have survived the spider mite infection, it did not survive the therapy. Neem oil, along with another horticultural oil, is diluted in water, and then you spray it. You spray it in the evenings because the sun is gone and the water and the oil won't burn the leaves. But the warnings on the horticultural oil warned me against using it on on cycads, but I didn't have any alternative. I needed to do something about the spider mites, so I did try and thought, well, maybe the plant is strong enough and vigorous enough to survive it. No chance. All the leaves died off, and I had to throw the plant into the garbage the following year because it did not come around at the end of the winter. I had hoped that maybe the winter rest might make it bounce back to life, but no chance. The plant was a goner, and I had to get one of these. So, pests. They are special when it comes to spider mite infections. What you can do to prevent that is you spray them. So you use a spray bottle with water and you mist the plant, spraying the water all over the leaves. You can do this in the morning and in the evenings. I forget to do that most of the time, so if there is a spider mite infection, I would suggest taking this plant or these plants to the shower and give them a shower. Hand warm, room temperature shower. So don't use the ice cold tap water coming from your shower. Give it a little bit of temperature, and there may be a chance to get rid of the spider mites, even though this is not a foolproof method. With these, I haven't had a spider mite infection yet, and I'm hoping I will never have one. There will not be a chance to have one during the winter season, probably, but there may be next year. In terms of pets, well, these plants are toxic. And when you touch them, or when the tips of these hard leaves, and they are really hard, and when they scratch you, you may feel an itch, and you may feel a kind of rash. So when you are working with this plant, you do want to wear gloves. The regular gloves that are good for gardening, they will do. They are sturdy enough to protect you, and when you grab them by the stem here, for example, because you need to transplant them, that will be good protection. Otherwise, they are toxic, and their touch may leave rashes on your skin, give you an itch. So I never work with them with bare arms or without wearing gloves. Okay? My cats don't bother. The leaves are unappetizing. The feel of chewing them seems to be unattractive also. Not only that they are unappetizing, they also seem to be repulsive. Okay? Is there anything else I would like to say about these? Yes. They are robust plants, easy care. They don't require much attention. So, and you can grow them indoors. I didn't say anything about growing them indoors. If you are growing them indoors, give them a highlight place. Give them a highlight place. They can even take full sun. So there is no problem if you have a room in which it is moderately warm, not too hot, not too cold, but as I said before, they can take all temperatures apart from the frost. Then this is a plant for you. Don't a northern exposure or a northeastern exposure is not for them. They are they need and want the sun. Okay, so the place which gets most sunlight is the place for them in your homes. Okay, so there is nothing else. As I said before, there will be a blog post to go along with the video. And if you're interested in more portraits of plants, stick around and I'll be back with another video soon. So, bye-bye.